Hello, so this video is going to be kind of an overview of certain parts of Chapter 7 that you're going to be covering. We're not covering all of Chapter 7 in the inventory maintenance section, just kind of bits and pieces of it. So I'm going to do this video along with some parts of the PowerPoint. Go ahead and read through the chapter, read through the PowerPoint, but this video is going to focus on what we're covering specifically for the inventory maintenance. So in community pharmacies, so for what we call community pharmacies, or actually another term for that is retail pharmacies. So these are the pharmacies that we see our patients face to face. They come in, they pick up their prescriptions. So some examples are Fry's, Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, Safeway, Albertsons, Bashas', Food City. Some of the Food Cities have pharmacies, El Rio, Genoa. These are pharmacies that are inside the behavioral health clinics like Cope, Kodak, La Frontera. These are all considered to be retail pharmacies because we see our patients face to face. So your role as a pharmacy technician, there's a slide in here. There's also a page in your book that will help you answer some of the questions on your review guide. So the number one thing is we're the front line, right? Technicians are the front line when we see our patients. So we're greeting our patients. We're answering telephone calls. We're initiating refill requests because, patients call in and they want a refill on their prescription. We can clarify certain prescription questions or clarification questions. We update their patient profile. So when we put their information into the computer, we're looking for things like making sure that their date of birth is correct. We're updating any address and phone number changes, and we're going to ask them if they're taking any extra supplements, over-the-counter items, so we can update that accordingly. And then we want to ask if there's any changes to their allergies. Updating or entering their billing information, so their insurance. We enter new prescriptions. We will submit online prescription claims through the insurance, which is called online adjudication. We'll resolve insurance issues. That's kind of left to us as technicians. We will count out tablets and capsules to fill. We'll reconstitute suspensions. So our bottles of antibiotics come in powdered form. We add the sterile water to that to make it a liquid suspension before our patients pick it up. We will affix the medication labels to the containers. That's what the patient sees when we hand them their prescription bottles. Retrieving drug products from drug storage. So not only from the shelf, but sometimes pharmacies are big enough and busy enough that they have a separate room where they kind of keep overflow stock. They keep things that are extra. We have fast movers. We'll keep a large amount of stock on hand. That goes back to tying in the want book. So your want book is any kind of paper or book, spiral notebooks, journal notebooks. Sometimes it's an Excel spreadsheet. So this is left kind of in a group agreed upon area. So when you are done, let's say, almost done for the day, and as you're going, you're noticing that certain things are starting to get low on the shelf, you're going to write those down onto the want book. That helps the purchaser when they're going through and doing their ordering to say, oh, hey, we're almost out of this, we're out of this. It's kind of second checks and balances. The purchaser doesn't just go off the want book by itself. They typically walk the shelves and see if there's anything else that needs to be ordered. But the want book is a helpful guide to let the purchasers know what we're in need of. Storing completed prescriptions, returning the stock bottles to their shelves. So when we've pulled a medication off and filled a prescription, that we are returning that bottle in the exact same place that we got it from. Let's see. So, important information that are required on certain prescriptions. So, in terms of controlled substances, when we receive a controlled substance prescription, okay, so these are things like morphine, Oxycontin, Percocet, Vicodin, Xanax, anything that's considered a controlled substance, even tramadol. When we receive that prescription, technicians are to ensure that the physician's DEA number is on that prescription. So when the physicians become licensed to practice medicine, and if they want to write for controlled substance prescriptions, they have to register with the DEA, which is the Drug Enforcement Administration, and they have to register with them, and they get what they call a DEA number. And so that number tracks the physician and how many and what type of controlled substance prescriptions that they are writing for. In order for us to process that, not only by state and federal law, but also process it through insurance, the physician's DEA number must be present. Let's see. Bear with me here a second. Yeah, so when you're going through this chapter, I would look specifically for the question on your review and tie that directly to where you're looking, either in your book or on the PowerPoint. The answers are there, and it's, again, just kind of, we're looking for things like examples of auxiliary labels. So in a pharmacy setting, part of our inventory maintenance is making sure that we have enough auxiliary labels. Well, what are auxiliary labels? Hold on, and I can show you. So this is an actual prescription bottle. It's a prescription for one of my children, so I'm not going to show you that information. But see here, it says may cause drowsiness. So auxiliary labels are those additional little, they're usually colored, right? They're sometimes red, yellow, blue. They're additional labeling that we put onto the prescription that helps aid the patient in how they need to take it. Some of these can say do not drink alcohol. Take with food, take on an empty stomach, may cause drowsiness, don't operate heavy machinery, avoid sunlight. So these are just extra warnings to the patient to, okay, hey, I need to be aware and careful of doing these things. You're going to be looking up information on what a medication information sheet is. You're looking specifically for what 3 tasks can be completed by a pharmacist only. So there's certain tasks that only a pharmacist can complete, and technicians cannot do these specific tasks. Looking for definitions of a couple words here. You're looking at child-resistant container. So if you look at this bottle here, I cannot open it up. Okay, I have to push down and twist to get it open. This is a child-resistant container. There's a specific act that was passed that requires the use of these, and that's because there was a sharp increase or incline in young children gaining access to their parents' prescriptions and overdosing on these prescription medications because they were easily, the bottles were easily opened. And a lot of times these pills, these tablets, these capsules look like candy. And I think that's it. So really tomorrow for Wednesday is when we start diving heavy into Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is heavy for inventory maintenance. So there's just a few pieces in Chapter 7 that we kind of cover, and those questions are answered there. But tomorrow we'll really dive heavily into Chapter 9 and go from there. So make sure you review at least through the PowerPoint for Chapter 7 just to kind of get an idea and a feel for it. Answer the questions, and then tomorrow will be a full-length lecture video and expectation of reading all of chapter 9 and reviewing the PowerPoint.